All right, welcome back. We have the second episode of the Early Learning Company podcast. So we're outside of the pilot, right? We've done the pilot, and we thought this one would be a great episode to really capture. This should be the third one.
Should be the third.
Should be the third one, and talk a little bit about how we actually scheduled one and
Shot
it, and such
Great
a good conversation.
All the good things that went with it.
So good.
Little people.
Yeah.
Distractions.
Yep. It was great. And
It's a good one.
I failed to press the record button correctly. And so it didn't record anything. And now we're
It
here.
wasn't just a you fail. It was a we fail. I didn't notice it either because we were just deep into it.
Yeah,
It was
we were
good.
into it. I appreciate that. So, and we thought that would be a great topic today. You know, as we're trying something new with the training and development department, we're trying to offer in different ways. And this podcast is a format that we knew we were going to fail at times.
Yep.
We knew we were going to learn from it, and kind of string that back together of what are some of those things in classrooms and things like that. You know,
Those disappointments that
Yeah.
you have to turn around and find the good in.
absolutely.
So this is giving us a redemption chance. The
Yeah.
way I'm looking at it.
For sure. And I think just to start out, you know, from my perception, even in this scenario, it would have been really easy for me to excuse all sorts of things. Like, oh, it was there and it was our first time and so on and so forth. And I didn't see this and the camera was far away and, you know, all these different things,
Right.
which are all probably true. And that didn't help us figure out what was going on.
Nope.
It didn't help us go, wait, what is something we could do differently to ensure that we actually record this? We actually do a good job, and
Right.
this isn't something that happens again, right?
But it
Um,
also wasn't something that made us go, oh, well, that didn't work. So we're
Yeah.
done. We're not going to do it again.
Right.
Don't know how to do it.
Yeah. Because you hit those frustration points, you hit those friction points.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that,
Often.
yeah, absolutely.
Often.
And for us, it was an opportunity to go, okay, maybe what's a process that we can follow to ensure, you know, and one simple thing, it sounds really crazy, but we're recording right now because I moved a mouse. That's it. Like I said, we're going to press the record button, but then I'm going to move the mouse and then we're going to sit down and start shooting the podcast.
Yep.
And here we are, right? One adjustment.
We're one little adjustment, one
Yeah.
minor little thing, like a schedule.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Like a schedule, your daily schedule. One minor little thing. One hiccup could go wrong. Your whole day is shot. Or you can go back and say, let's either retry it or adjust a little bit.
Yeah.
So, especially
Yeah.
on rainy days like today.
Yeah, right. And I think, you know, the question I would ask is, you know, not to date you and say how long have you worked, but you worked in early childhood education for a while.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And
Long time.
even here at Hunties, how often have we talked about schedules and really trying to implement schedules? Like, it's been a while,
It's been a while.
right? And it's been a lot of iterations.
Yep.
You know what I
We've
mean?
been hammering it
Yeah.
for a while. We even talked about it a little bit at Camp Lead.
Yeah.
We're like, schedule, schedule, schedule.
Yeah.
Not being rigid with our schedules.
Yeah.
But when you hit those little bumps in the road, what's going to work? What's not going to work? So
Absolutely.
we've been moving on them for at least 6 months straight
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah. And I think the question that comes to mind for me is, what do you think has helped us really get that foundation, right? It seems like we've been trying to build a foundation. There's been some hiccups. We're still moving and we're going to continue to get better and better at it,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
But what do you think has helped us along the way to get to the point that we are?
Well, I think that our teammates realizing that when they don't have a schedule to follow, there's chaos.
Mhm.
There can be chaos.
Mhm.
But I also think that the fact that we're following schedules in almost every classroom so that the teachers are able to have those little hiccups. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So you're able to work with those little hiccups. You're able to move on. Or like today, like I mentioned, it's raining. Well, we already have a plan in our head of what we can do on those rainy days and what we can do to get the kids moving and still get that exercise and gross motor skills to fulfill the need of the children's body movements and activities. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of hearing like, because we have this schedule or because we have this plan, that we know when there's a hiccup, it doesn't halt everything.
nope.
We know there's still direction, right? There's
Yeah.
still things, there's still forward momentum that we can have and things that we can do.
It's more of a forward planning too because you know it. I'm aging myself again, but as you go on in time, you know you're going to have these little tools in the back of your head or even in a binder somewhere of activities and things that you can do to supplement when hiccups happen in the classroom.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Over time, over time with you in implementing schedules within the classrooms that you ran,
Mm-hmm.
did you ever find that because these schedules are in place, because you have these activities, that you were able to be more agile and adjust with the kids as needed?
Yeah, absolutely. You get to know the children in your classroom. You know their likes and dislikes, I guess, if you will. So you know what's going to resonate with them and what's not.
Yeah.
But also just knowing that I have something to fall back on.
Mhm.
I've got something over here. Well, this isn't working right now, so I'm going to go grab this and we're going to try this. Yes, it's still a schedule. Yes, it's fairly by the book, if you will, but it's also lenient enough to allow for everybody to get their needs met.
Yeah.
I guess I don't really know how to say that, but
Yeah, I could see that. And it kind of gives that that space, we would say,
Yes,
for that
yes.
to, yeah,
Yep.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I like in that, do you think because of you pre-planning some of that, having that schedule, did it allow you to have a little bit of freedom to try different things, to
Oh, yeah, all
to
the time.
fail here and there?
Yeah.
And see,
Well, there's a lot of failure. There's a whole lot of failure because, and same thing with behaviors, and we've talked about that lots and lots this year too. But if you quit on something just because it doesn't work the first time, it should not be a deterrent to not try it again, because you may just have to tweak the way that you are proposing it,
Sure.
or the way that you're speaking. You really have to kind of, that got deep real quick, but you
Yeah.
kind of have to deep dive into your own way of talking and working through it. So if I'm like right now doing these podcasts, still flying by the seat of my pants here, but just having a conversation with myself, relaxing a little bit and knowing what my strengths are and what things I really need to work on, just trying to bring those mistakes,
Sure.
I guess,
Yeah.
and roll with the punches, not beat yourself up.
Yeah. I'm hearing too, like having the ownership, or the ownership that this is my classroom and I can control me and what I can control. So how can I navigate this in a different way to still move us in the direction we're trying to go?
Yeah.
Right. And so
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
if development of the children, a specific skill, whatever it is, if we're digging into that and it's not connecting, right? How do I adjust slightly to keep driving that same thing home, or to keep offering that invitation for that skill development in hopes that it continues to, it will connect with them and it'll move them forward.
So it's funny that you say it just like that, because when we were at Camp Lead, I was listening to a conversation between two of the other leads from other buildings, and they were talking about their sensory table and how they had it out and they had this big plan of what they were going to do. And I believe that they were toddlers that they were working
Okay.
with.
Yeah.
But whatever the plan was that they had going, and I don't remember what it wasn't working. So the one teacher said, I just close it up and I put it away. But the other teacher was talking to her and saying, well, instead of just putting it away and them not getting to experience that or learning whatever skill they were working on at that time, she's like, maybe if you just moved this little piece out of it, or if you just moved this little piece out. So they were working together, and she's like, I'm going to try that when we come back. So I was like, that's great. They're working together, two different buildings, figuring it out. But also it made her realize that she wasn't going to quit.
Yeah.
She didn't want to stop teaching that skill or let the kids work on that skill because it didn't work that time.
Yeah.
So she's like, well, what if you just try this? And she was super kind about it. So it's like, yay, that's perfect.
Yeah, I love
Just
that.
Keep trying.
That collaboration too.
Yeah,
That
it was
collaboration to process something, because I think too often when we fail, we accept that as like representative of us.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
oh, that didn't work. I'm like, oh man, am I doing a
I
good
was
job as a
wrong. No
was I
gold
doing
star.
was I doing a good, or am
Yeah.
I doing a bad job as a teacher even? Like, it's
Right.
very easy to go to those places because we're putting our heart and soul into this.
Right.
Did you ever have times like that?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time, especially early on. And especially like those simple little minor things of, they're not listening to me at story time. What's the point of even reading? I'm not going to read a book today. They're not wanting to listen.
Yeah.
So it was just a process of understanding where my trigger point was, where I was going to quit, or well, then I'm reading it wrong, or maybe not wrong, but how else could I read it?
Sure.
So I would change the tone of my voice and got goofy, and they start to listen. It's just those little things within yourself that you're like, well, how can I get them to understand or listen?
Yep.
They're always picking up. It's just just finding that way that you can deliver the message.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk a lot about like you've shared singing too.
Oh my gosh.
You know, like how many like adjusting that and doing things different, right? I'm reading, now I'm singing, now I'm doing this, now I'm doing that, and you're just trying different things to connect the dots, right?
Yep. Just trying to figure out what is going to be the light bulb moment. And even if you just are trying to get them to stand in line or get ready to go outdoors or get their coats on, having them just look at you because you're being goofy, they're paying attention, and you're going to get them outside. So
yeah, it made me a thought that I just had was, without the failures, we probably don't get the light bulb moments.
No,
not both for ourselves, but also for the kids.
Yep.
That's
actual. And I actually tell my kids, my own personal children, I'll tell them, you cannot have courage without having fear.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost the same thing. I mean, if you're afraid of something, how are you going to overcome it?
Yeah.
If something is not working right, do you just leave it? Do you walk away from it, or do you fix it? So
yeah,
I hope that resonates with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, again, like just talking through this idea of us making mistakes, right? And us being able to learn from it. I think as one of our core values is facilitating development, I think that's an opportunity for us to lean in personally ourselves and say, how am I, moving things forward, trying new things, failing, and realizing that failure is non-representative of who we are. But it's
hard sometimes.
Yeah. But it's also information.
Yes.
And the more information we have, the further we can go, the more we can iterate and do different, right? Like, and we need the information in order to do those things.
Yeah, absolutely. And ask if you need the ideas or you need motivation. Ask your partner. Ask somebody from a different center, as happened at Camp Lead.
Yeah.
So.
Even the collaboration, as you shared the story of the two teachers, and
Mm-hmm.
we're going to try this different. Did you find times in your time in the classroom where you met that frustration? You're like, holy cow, and you're trying to go about it, but through collaborating, you were able to see something different, try something different, and actually keep things moving forward.
Yeah, sometimes, especially as a first-year teacher or a new teacher, you get that feeling of inferiority complex.
Sure.
Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
So if someone else is doing something and you can't seem to get it to work, it makes you feel bad. So you take that on and be like, well, I'm just not even going to try it, or you've got it on your own. But just as you grow and as you open yourself up to the fact that somebody else might actually be able to help you with this, or asking for help, which I cannot reiterate enough. If you just ask, somebody will help you.
Yeah.
Or you'll figure it out another way to do something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which is really the culture we're trying to develop.
Yeah.
Right. The thing that we're continuing to try to spur on and create habit around is that collaboration and the asking for help and things like that.
And that will spark joy.
Oh yeah.
In your classroom too, especially with those little people. But you yourself, if you finally get those light bulb moments yourself, and you've something worked like the 15th time after you tried it, and it didn't work 14 other times, there's that little bit of joy. So.
And you can tell you've experienced that.
Yes.
You can tell, like, as you're sharing that, it's like, oh yeah, you've
experienced
experienced
I get really passionate about it, but it's a good feeling.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
What encouragement would you give to that staff member that's hit that 14th time? That's like,
try that 15th.
Okay.
Just do it again. Ask or take a step back and look and see, what have I done up until then that didn't work?
Yeah.
What little thing can I change? Can I change the intonation of my voice? Can I move something out of this space? Whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Ask your neighboring teachers for help. Use the Facebook group.
Oh yeah.
Ask the Facebook group that we've all been there.
Yeah.
So just be open.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
Be open.
Yeah, and I hear the intentionality of that.
Mm-hmm.
And to bring it back, like, schedules help with that. Schedules help create that space where you can do that, and for us to continue. It seems so simple, but it's the thing that creates space for us to build relationships, for us to fail and learn, for us to gather the information, for us, right? It's that.
I'm going to kind of switch gears, but not when you're talking about your schedules in your classroom. I know everybody says that they have the visual schedules, but having a child height schedule of, even if it's that one little person who just is not grasping the concept of something, if you have that little person only in that schedule, for that little person to look at, maybe that might be something different or something to try.
Yeah. That
So-
might help that 15th time of whatever.
Yep.
Help that kid through. Yeah.
Yep. That might be that 15th. It might even be the 16th
Yeah.
time. But just them seeing that picture might spark something in them that's going to make them want to do whatever it is you have
Yeah.
coming up next.
Absolutely. And we can't manufacture the light bulb moments,
No.
but we can continue to help facilitate opportunities for those light bulb
Yes.
moments to
Yes.
happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool.
Well said.
Well, we appreciate you guys jumping on. We're gonna keep shooting more and more of these. We are gonna go
Can't
episode
have
3.
courage without fear.
Yeah, and we're gonna keep getting this right. We're gonna keep getting better and better at this. But we want to hear from you guys. What would you like us to touch on? What would you like us to cover, have conversations about? And if you have a teacher within your center that you would love to hear from on the podcast, we want to come to the center and we want to have a conversation.
And if you want to share
Absolutely.
something with Hunties, let us know. We'll bring you on too.
Absolutely. We appreciate you guys jumping on. We look forward to connecting with you guys for episode 3. Thank you.